Hi everyone, I had to pull out my studio light and start filming with it because we are now at this time of the year when the light starts going down very quickly now. So I hope the lighting will be okay and as natural as possible. Alright, so today I want to start playing together with you. So some of you that already purchased this set, you might want to join in, and then those of you that are not familiar, then you can check it out on my ESSIE. So this is a clear stamp set, and it's called FOTD, which stands for Face of the Day. So I'm going to take it out of the packaging, and at the back of the packaging I have a nice little example of what you can create. So this is a brand new set, I'm just using it for demo purpose. And so yeah, basically very easy, very simple. It's a fashion face, and if you are into this sort of thing, I think you would find it a lot of fun. If you are not aware, there is also the FLORALS set. So at the back here you can see what you can create, but also the reason I'm mentioning it now is that because I designed it to be used together or separate, so the sizing is done perfectly. And I'll show you a little example. Again, I'm showing it every single time just because there might be some new viewers that aren't familiar with it. So there you go, this is what you can create, and let's start. So I'm going to show you today how I play around with my clear stamp. You can get inspired by that or you can do your own thing, totally up to you. So I take it out and I take this other part out and I leave my stamp set upside down because you can see what's where. If you are not familiar with it yet too much, then just turn it around and have a little look. But basically I find it easier to keep it this way. You will need, or I find it easier if I use different sized acrylic blocks. So I have this one, which is by Altenew. I bought a whole set from America. It had to be shipped a couple of years ago, and it's a really good quality one, but whatever you use, whatever you're comfortable with. And then for the smaller details, such as the mouth and the eyes, I like to use this little one, which is really quick. Okay, so let's start with the face first. Now, I have this ink pad, which is by Tim Holtz Distress Ink, and it's a Tattered Rose. Sorry if it's not in focus. It's a gorgeous color. There we go. It's a gorgeous color for when you want to something quite light. Now, maybe for the video purpose, I should have used something a bit darker, but I do want to show you how I do it when I do it on my own. So here we go. We're going to stamp the image anywhere on the page. By the way, I'm using the MD Cotton paper notebook, which is just beautiful. I'm actually coming to the middle of it very quickly. So this is it. You just stamp it. Don't wiggle, don't press too hard. Just give it a few seconds for the ink to go into the paper and be absorbed. Now, I don't really clean my stamps. I'm just trying to find. I use like a little scrap of paper and just stamp it off like that with this particular ink. Or if I got anything in the middle of the stamp, I just dab it off. That's it. Don't need any cleaning. So they're nice and clean. It's only when you need to wipe them and clean them a little bit is when you're using the Archival ink. Okay, so the next thing, I will probably do the hairband just to complete the base of the face. So here we go again. Very simple. You can put the band anywhere you want. I want it now to be right in the middle. I'm going to make a very simple face today. Something that's really quick to do. And the next thing I'm going to do is start with the actual face features. And I always start with the lips. So you have 5 lips to pick from. I'm going to go for this one today. And now I need the small block. And so the placement of my lips, there is a really good video I made, quite long, but I highly advise you go and watch it, where I basically show you the differences of stamping techniques in terms of proportions and things like that. So I covered all of that off already, so have a look. But basically I am just going to stamp the lips where I usually stamp them. So quite low in the face, leaving the chin area there. So that's the lips. So the lips always have the nostrils there, and that helps me to kind of have the proportions set there quite nicely. It also has a beauty mark. I don't know if you noticed, but all of the 5 lips have a little beauty mark there. Okay, let's look at the eyes. I'm gonna do a smoky eye today. So let's see. Well, actually no, I'm gonna do this eye. So this is a cat eye. They're perfectly sized for this stamp block. So really easy to use. And now I'm going to go just above. Now you have to be a little bit on top of the stamp set to see what you're doing. But I'm going kind of in the middle. So if you drew a line in the middle of the face, like I've done here. So this is where the eyes go. Now this is the proportions I like, but look, you can do so many different ones. You can place them around the face wherever you want to suit your own kind of style or look. Then the next thing you can do is that is it. You could leave it even eyebrowless, but I'm going to do eyebrows, and I'm going to go for these eyebrows today. So they're really neat. They're all connected, so they're very easy to use for those of you who are perhaps not seasoned stampers. So I had you in mind when I was creating this and made it quite easy for you, so you don't need to play around and try to figure out what's going where. I think this is the right way. And just use them as they come. So that's it. Very easy, very quick. So this is it. This is how quick it was. Now the next step that I would do is just line everything out. Quite easy. And if you wanted to, you could add a little neck and a little like a bodies to it, and just have a more of a continuation to this illustration. Or if you wanted just the head, you could just leave it like that. Really totally up to you. Actually, I'm quite enjoying my studio lights. I don't know about you, but I can see everything so well. Okay, so now what to do with the forehead, I left that up to you to decide what you want to do, but as an option you can do a fringe. Now this is how I absolutely adore doing hair at the moment, is the doodling. You can do any shape of the fringe that you want, and I will show you again. So you can do different shapes. You can open the forehead more, you can go more lower down, have a straight fringe, slightly kind of rounded fringe, one that's just sitting on the top and it's quite short, one that is going around the face, and then nothing at all if you prefer, or you can even stick some flowers there, why not? So for today's purpose, I'm going to do some doodling. I absolutely love doodling, and this is what I'm enjoying. So I don't know if I actually mentioned, but I'm using my platinum carbon ink fountain pen, which has waterproof ink. And I mean, when I say waterproof, it is waterproof. So once you have drawn with it or written, you can go over with water quite literally as soon as it is dry. It dries in 10 seconds, very quick. Just as soon as you don't go straight after, like when you can see it's still glistening on the paper, if you go straight into that, you can make the ink just go move a little bit, but it's still, the line will still be there, it won't be dissolved. Okay, so I'm going to link everything down below for you because I know some of you have been asking for tips on what to use on these illustrations. It's really quite simple. There's about a handful of things and you'll see them today. So just doodling. I'm not concentrating too well because I'm talking. I find it quite hard to do doodle work and talk at the same time, but basically you get the idea. We're just starting from one point and finishing at the opposite point and creating a little bit of volume here in the bun, and I'm wiggling the line so that it looks a little bit more like hair rather than just straight lines. And you could instead use watercolor if you want to fill it in, but I love doodling, and so this is what I'm into right now. You can skip this part, of course. So I'm just going to finish this bit, and then we're going to look at just adding a few little things to this illustration before we move on to the fun part, which is the watercolor part. So at this point I have eyebrows, which are, of course, if you would have used black ink you wouldn't need to do that, but I am trying to go over this and kind of do my own thing, if that makes sense, and make it look a little bit more hand-drawn. So I'm just going to, I feel that way you'll be more connected to the art that you created, and you won't just feel that you stamped something in your art journal, but you actually will feel like you build it, you know, build your own. So here I'm just going over. If you would have stamped the eyebrows with black ink, you would get a lot more, especially the Ranger's Archival ink. I know for sure because this is what I use. You would get a great detail there. Other inks like this one is a little bit wet, and so it spreads quite nicely. Next thing, I'm going to do the nostrils. With the nostrils you can make them darker, bigger, wider, smaller, you know, you can play around. So you can see here I have basically, I'll show you, you can go and create it, like go a little bit inwards, and you change the nose like that, and then the beauty mark. The only thing I will leave unlined is the lip, and the eyes I will do later on. So I want to add earlobes, which are very easy, and just little earrings like that. Again, up to you whether you want to do that or not. And then you could add, like I said, a neck and all that, but I'm not looking at that today. So next thing to do is to watercolor. I'm going to use my own because I love them so much, and truth be told, I wanted a perfect Caucasian skin tone, which I couldn't find in the watercolors that I was purchasing because they were all very chalky, of this color. Like if you look for a peachy color, they're all quite chalky. So I designed a color that I really like, and it has a sheen to it, so it's perfect for luminosity. And I'm going to use, actually, let's see if with these studio lights we can see the sheen a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. You can see that more. Okay, in terms of the brush, it's the Silver Black Velvet in round 4 that I recommend using for this size of illustration. So, to avoid too opaque type of finish, I am going to dilute it with water and then work that way. So it is very much packed with pigments. So if you're just going to have the pigment or the watercolor loaded on your brush, you will see that it's a little bit intense in terms of the payoff. If you want this beautiful, transparent, luminous look, then do what I have done here, which is using plenty of water and, you know, do what you would do with a regular watercolor, which is having fun. So here I'm just using it a little bit. I like to leave some white in the face as well, as in complete highlights. And then I will deepen the color just a little. Now this is the time to build it up a little bit more while it is still wet. And look at that. I didn't need to mix any. I wonder if you can see it. With these studio lights you can actually see much better. So I'm going to try and bring it over. Now the shimmer or the sheen comes through much better when the watercolor has dried. I'm trying to see if you can see that. Maybe I'll bring it a little closer. Can you see that sheen? Right there. I hope you can. It's so pretty. I can see it. So this is the base of the skin color. What I'm going to do next... Actually, what's this? Is this watercolor? Yeah. The good thing about the watercolor, they're not staining, so they come off quite well. I think maybe a couple of colors are a little bit more staining than the others, but in general I found they're very nice and liftable. So then I'm going to go ahead and create a little bit of this. I really like adding this kind of orangey color into the eye area. So I'm just going to do that and a little bit under. And let's see if some areas are still wet and the watercolor wants to move, then I'll just let it go. On one side of the face I will put a little bit more of the orange than the other. You don't want it to be identical. And then just use a clean wet brush to move anything that you need to move. And that probably should be it. And now I am going to create the red lip. I love this red for that beautiful scarlet red lip. I just love it, love it, love it. Again, the fact that all of these watercolors have a little bit of a sheen to them. Just love it. So the new batch that I'm going to be doing, I will make sure I'll leave some more for myself as well, just because, you know, when you are able to create something you have in mind and you can't buy it anywhere else, because, you know, that's why I decided to make these watercolors, is because I couldn't find what I wanted in other big brands, and so that's where we are today. So I don't want to run out of them, basically. Okay, and very easy, just to use 4 colors. You don't have to, but I quite like to add this pink. Okay, so this is it for the face. I'm going to go ahead and dry it, and the last thing that's left is the eye, and that's what I will do. So actually, while it is still drying, if I want a very, very basic eye, what I would do is just go in with a water-soluble graphite. I have a thing for grey eyes because they run in my family, and I have grey eyes, my son has grey eyes, my dad has grey eyes, his mother had grey eyes, and I don't know how far the grey eye thing is running, but that's why if you see me illustrating eyes, then quite often they're grey. I just like it. So yeah, let me just go ahead and dry it. Oh my gosh, the skin looks amazing. I feel like I put some makeup on her. Just love it. Let's see if the sheen is now that it's dry. Whether you can see it a bit more. Gosh, I really hope you can see exactly what I'm seeing, but I don't know whether that's the case, but it is so gorgeous. Do let me know how you're getting on with your watercolors. I'd love to know, because I absolutely can, you know, put my hands on my heart and say I absolutely love them, not because I made them, but because of what I was able to create. It's exactly what I had in my mind, so I'm just really, really happy about it. So, okay, for the eye, I could do... Actually, let's have a little bit of fun. Instead of... So, this is typically what I use for... the eyeliner on my illustrations. This is the zebra in fine, not the extra fine nib. Okay, I am going to give her... What kind of eye do I want? With this orange? Yeah, let's try this one. No, I need something a bit more pinky actually. Okay, so this is a bit better. I'm going to give her a pink eyelid. So that's what you can do. You could either use this eye stamp that I showed you. Let's see again. Did I take it off? So this was this one here. You can stamp it straight away in black ink and the job will be done. Or you can stamp it in a light ink and then use whatever other colors you want on top of it. And that is really, really fun. Again, using the Illustrated Faith Bible mat underneath allows me to really push into the paper and really blend these colors without having any indentation on the next page. So the next page is beautifully flat. So that's another tip and trick I'm sharing with you. Okay, I'm really happy with this makeup. It looks so cute. Okay, here we go. I'm ready for the close-up. So this was a very simple way of creating a nice face, and if you changed the eyebrows, if you move them a little bit around, you can create, so for instance, I'll show you here. So this is the heart tattoos that you can play around. So you can create different, you know, angry, sad, different looks on the face by playing around with the eyebrows, which you can cut in half and have more flexibility with what you can create. And that is it. Actually, before we go, the heart tattoo can be used with black ink. Basically, it's this one, Ranger's Archival ink, and you can use it in like creating earrings. You could do it like that. There you go. And then you can, if you want to, really have fun. So what I would do is I would turn one upside down and then fan it out like so. There you go. And I could really build on this earring and continue actually going and creating more fun of a shape if I wanted to. But that's just to show you a very quick thing that you don't need to use it just, or you don't have to use it just on the face. So let me bring it in and show you once again with the earring and how simple it was. So that is it for today. I hope you had fun with it and played along. And thanks for watching. See you soon.